Hey, so I wanted to give you guys a little update. There's a lot going on in the garden right now. I wanted to talk just for a few moments about the cucumber trellis. I think it was actually called a squash trellis, but it is from Gardener's Supply Company. Um, I'm really not good at setting things up at all. I had my son and his girlfriend help me, and he's not a direction reader, but also we had some issues with the setup just because, this ground is definitely not level, and I didn't even know, where I wanted to put it exactly when we were setting it up. And you're supposed to, uh, have it in the spot, that you're going to have it in. Um, and there's more parts we didn't put on by a lot, so we definitely did it wrong. We just kind of literally threw it up. It was so hot when we did it, you guys. I don't know why we did it in the middle of the day. It was so funny. But the thing is I'm so freaking happy with it. Like I said, the ground isn't level, so I kind of rigged it to where like the back is actually like way in there, and it's kind of like wedged in various things, the swing, the fence, the table. So it's got a lot of strength, and I just want to say how grateful I am that it was such a, obviously so well made, but, such a great product, because not only did it withstand the storm that the other day that was like 70 miles an hour, at least 50 to 70, I think, were the winds that we got. I'm not sure. I didn't actually ever double check, but it's also, my cucumbers are just doing so well on it. And as you can see here, we have the first cucumber reaching the top section, the top arch here. So this one is taller than me officially this week. I don't think the last video it was taller than me. I'm 5'4". So this is at least, I would say, 6 foot, 5'11", something like that. So, I've kind of showed you basically what we have going on. It looks really, really junky right now because I'm trying every trick in my toolbox and being creative and just finding ways to keep it more shaded. And I'm also trying to create kind of a microclimate in here where there's dampness, there's layers, there's lots of cardboard down here. As you can see, it may look really trashy. Obviously, I've got things up here, just brown paper, made them into a little flower. Not really caring so much how it looks, just trying to get everything through this major heat wave that we're having. So, a lot of thought went into kind of like what goes where so that we can get a little shade from these zinnia rows. We can get a little shade from these hats. And that's not really giving this any shade, but this will get a tiny bit of shade. We have the woods right over here, so kind of the morning sun is filtered, but this gets sun from over the top of the house, as you can see. So we're just now at the early July, about 5 o'clock. This, you can see the last of the sun here on that one. So it gets really intense, especially for cucumbers. They're not, they like it hot, obviously, but they usually don't like this super crazy UV kind of assault. But everything's going great. Like I said, I'm trying to keep water down here, not only for insects and animals, but throwing some water on those cardboard boxes so that the evaporation can actually keep everything a little bit cooler. I have a fan that I'll sometimes put over there and direct it over here when I think about it. But yeah, just very, very impressed and loving this. And I also have to say, not only did we not follow directions, it's on unlevel ground. I didn't even use all of the stakes, you guys. See those stakes right here? We've got 1, 2, those actually not doing a whole lot, but then I put all of these other stakes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more stakes over here that obviously using for other purposes and not part of the squash trellis. So really I got bonus. And there's a net actually that I started cutting up and using over here. Probably didn't use it the best way possible. But so I got a lot with it, and we didn't even use the screws that you're supposed to put in there either, because I kind of want to be able to take it down and reassemble it very easily. So we'll see how that actually works out come the end of the season and come next year. Maybe I'll just keep it up. I'm really not sure yet. But I just wanted to show you that and kind of talk a little bit more about it than I normally have. I see lots of insects, lots of butterflies are loving this little environment, and it is kind of like a little microclimate. I can starting to get a little bit of shade down here too, just from everything else. So what else did I want to talk to you about? Okay, so we talked about the sunflowers in the storm and how most of them, miraculously enough, were not too bothered at all by this crazy 50, to 70 mile an hour wind gust that we were having. But one of the ones, again, this is like the heat of the day over here. So obviously this one's going to look a little bit worse for the wear. And at this point, we're just trying to do the best we can with what we have, because I've already spent so much money on my garden that I'm kind of like on a spending freeze or a saving spree. So you can see how I have this rigged up. I just wanted to get some weight on this with the solar kind of rock light fixture that I had. You can see the step stool that I brought out here to cut down my cucumber that was like 14 feet tall. So I tied it up really with just some iris leaves that I had just trimmed. So we'll see how this rigging works. It, again, doesn't look that great right now. Obviously, in the heat of the day, this afternoon sun is crazy. I also did some other things down here, which I will talk about soon. But you can kind of see that it was very shallowly planted, which is why it fell over. This is just the side of my house, like throwing stuff in wherever it'll go, kind of as I talked about. But yeah, Zook's doing good still. Little mini sunflower, more sunflower. You can see the mulch. So what I did here was I just used my paper cutter to cut up some more of that brown paper, packing paper. And I got it wet and I mixed it with some vermiculite, just using what I have. It's making a little bit of extra moisture, and it's kind of packing it down just as a little almost layer of topsoil until the rest of my stuff comes in. So my other poor sunflower that really got a beating from the doorbell, or that you could see the picture from the doorbell, again, really should be mulching like crazy, burying this thing deep. Same problem. Oh, look. Oh, I thought that was a snake. Okay, just kidding. Good, I'm glad that's not a snake. So there's, obviously it's just some bricks here that I pulled up from the rest of the area. It's keeping it moist, it's keeping it anchored. And it's anchored twice now to this little bird, which is also buried and supported. So, again, heat of the day, doesn't look amazing, but I think she'll be okay. And that is barring any more crazy storms. Sorry, AC is running, I guess. I wanted to show you guys, I did also some of this new mulching method, KlaireeBerry's mulching method, with the paper cut up, vermiculite, water. I finally took the garlic scapes that I had been growing just out of extra garlic that we had. They sprouted. I sprouted them some more, and then I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna go ahead and plant them in here with this jalapeno, and gave it a little mulch. I think the soil really needed to be kind of dug up and played with a little bit, aerated for this guy. We've got 2 little peppers up here. Oh, one big one down here. You guys can see that. So yeah, excited about that. They're companion friends, and I might just move this in for the winter, or put it in kind of a more protected area, but we'll see how this does. It's not the right season for garlic, but we'll see what happens. Life is just a big experiment, right? Okay, one thing I just wanted to show you real quick down here under my zucchinis, which we've got some growing here. I just want to show you kind of another way that I like to do with the broad leaves is to kind of use that as a cover, because as much that you can kind of keep underneath here is going to be better for the temperature and also the moisture control. I also just wanted to show you my ginger. It kind of same thing, sprouted, and I stuck it in here, I want to say about a week ago, and I don't think it's done anything. I feel like they were all about that big for that one's just tiny, for about a week, but this one actually is having a little bit of new growth, so that, and that one as well, a little bit taller than it was before, so that makes me happy because that is the first day that I've seen that growth, at least on these two that you're seeing now. So same with this is the wrong timing, but I might replant and take this inside for the winter, which I will also do the same thing probably for all of these beautiful sweet potatoes. I've got one here. I've got, let me think about where my other ones are. This is probably my number one sweet potato, and I did not think that was going to happen in this pot. I have still not put holes in this pot, but I've also, I know when they're starting, you know, they like a lot of water, so we'll see how it goes here. So here is another sweet potato slip that I just am growing off of a random sweet potato that I got from the grocery store. I've been sprouting them just in this little setup right here. I've had to throw away, or compost rather, just a couple of potatoes, because I, again, just kind of willy-nilly threw them in here. They were getting maybe a little bit more water for a while. I like to keep things watered, but we've got maybe a little bit more, but I mean, again, guys, on this, the timing is just not super great. Oh, and the other one I went ahead and put in this pot here, so staying nice and hopefully humid, and also getting a lot of sun, which it likes. And they're just doing great. They're growing really, really fast, and I'm excited to have those for houseplants kind of for the winter. Or again, what I might do is I just kind of pulled this out, and let me just show you actually this. I've been like keeping like a lid on this. I've got a lot of, again, just random stuff going here. Bunch of seedlings. I'll talk about that in a minute, but I wanted to talk about kind of, again, creating these little microclimates, because this gets so much like sun from like 9 to at least 1 or 2, and it's just bearing down super hot sun. So I like to be able to cover this, having stuff in a bin. I've been given so many of these bins and stuff. So you can kind of put a little water down in the bottom. You can put a lid on it, whether you're doing a lid that allows sunlight to come through or not. I've got both, and I alternate. I'm really a fan of like being able to move stuff around quickly if you need to get it more sun, less sun, because I'm always trying to spend time in the garden just to make sure that I keep an eye on everything. And that's the easiest way to avoid problems in the garden, is to really just not let your plants get stressed out, mainly just by water in the sun is the first thing. I'm having, like, knock on wood, 0 pest issues, and I think it's just the amount of time that I spend in my garden, and I'm able to do that because I'm home all summer, thankfully. I realize not everybody can do that, but, you know, just like relaxing, I'll just relax over there on my hammock and just stare at my garden. You can really, you know, see what kind of pests are coming through. Even if you're just strolling through at least a couple times a day, you know, you can kind of see things that you wouldn't otherwise notice that might, like, speaking of things you need to notice, like, okay, you might start to see produce that needs to be picked, because that is about as big as I like to ever let those get. I like to pick them early, same with my peppers. So then I also have been putting in just like random peas. everywhere. I sprouted some peas for microgreens, but I didn't eat them all. I just been like mainly throwing them in the garden. So there's some of those. I've been putting out butter crunch lettuce. Again, I'm not really paying attention to the timing and the proper when this should happen. I'm just sprouting a bunch of stuff and seeing what it takes and learning lessons and having so much fun. And so my seedlings, I actually counted up my seedlings today. This is like close to the house. It has the little overhang, so it gets a little bit of shade over here, even starting at like noon or whatever. So I've got a lot of seedlings. Again, most of my peas are already out, but I'm just kind of gonna go through quickly what I have, because again, I counted them up, some bigger and better than others. So these right here are actually bamboo that I basically killed my bamboo plants, and I was able to salvage kind of like the tips, and it's been growing. I keep it really moist, just a little bit of soil there after I started it in some water to get the roots going. I've got much more basal propagation going on inside, like I showed you the other day. But let me just go over this, because again, you can kind of see what's going on here. So I have in this mess, okay, at least, and this is just counting like what is, first of all, it's an extreme underestimation of how many seedlings I have. This is the numbers I'm gonna list off are all the ones that are sprouting and look viable and will probably be viable after transplanting. So if that means I have something like this going on with lettuce, I'm not counting every single one of these. I'm counting like one per slot, or maybe two, depending. So you can see, I try to keep them, I try to keep my biggest, best ones like front and center. This one's not being counted. I'm dumping this out. This is like the amount of dirt I have right now, guys. I'm just like waiting for stuff to die at this point so I can replant new things. But butter crunch did really good down here, and I thinned it out already. I have 22 probably viable plants of kale. And again, I know that I'm counting this before what I think will be transferred, but still, it's an underestimation of what I have, but I'm probably overestimating what I'm going to end up with, because it's a heat wave. Sometimes I might get busy and not be able to come out, especially with work starting up soon. I got like 1 week left basically in a weekend, so things happen, and these guys are babies, so they need lots of care and attention and watering and moving and everything like that. So 22 kale, guys. I've got 17 chard. I've got about 17 unknown plants. Many of them are like this, and they might be that 5-seed mix blend. They might be turnips, they might be chard, they might be cabbage. Some of them it's just really early to tell. I'm seeing a lot of, though, I think a lot of them are cabbage. This is probably one of my best cabbages, actually. So yeah, a lot of unknowns. I've got the 35 lettuce. I have 9 cabbage at least that I know for sure are cabbages. I've got 9 turnips. I have 8 spinaches. I kind of wish I had a little bit more, but again, they're doing pretty well. I only have 1 like tiny little tomato that I'm still working on, a sucker transfer here, propagation or whatever you want to call it. Not doing the best, taking some heat and everything. I think that might be the last one that I try. I think I might just kind of stop pruning the tomatoes and let them go and see what happens. Where were we? I have about 6 zinnias, and they're mostly in the ground, or let's see, that's my number one, I guess you can call that a seedling. I don't think I counted it, but in the count, but you can see the 2 also in that pot are smaller. So yeah, 9 cabbage, 9 turnip, 8 spinach, at least 6 or 7 zinnias, 2 dandies. This one actually might not be doing that great. I've got another one somewhere around here. Kind of hard to keep track of them all. But yeah, I've got the 3 ginger over there. I've got that 1 tomato. I've got about 7 peas. Again, kind of just in the garden here. Oh, let me show you what I did. I've got a zinnia right there that I just planted out. And then I just had this brick laying here, but I kind of realized, okay, why don't I just push some of the dirt over here, dig it up a little bit. And so then I planted some of the, again, sprouted peas that I had going. Got a dandelion there. Zinnia, I got some chard over here. And then I've had these green onions and like green beans and stuff there for a while. But I also have, so there's like at least 13 spring onions still over here. I've got 4 basil plants that are just really small, pretty much. And I've got 1 parsley still that was saved. I almost killed it. So those are, I'm kind of trying to baby those for a while. I've got, so these are my garlic greens that are going to go by my kitchen sill eventually, but I'm going to see how they do outside for a while. And they might help also keep away some pests, which is always a wonderful thing. I've got, so 3 basil propagations outside, but I have about 8 on the inside. And I talked about the bamboo, and then I already showed you the garlic. So that is pretty much what I have in the waiting for my fall garden. The tomatoes are all still doing great. This cucumber, I think I forgot to show that a couple of times. It's growing straight up, pretty much looks like off of a single vine here. It started off slow. It got way too much water at first. I'm not sure how well that pot drains. This is a weird position to be in because it doesn't get a lot of light. It's kind of shaded by the peach and the cherry tree and the house, obviously. So yeah, it's doing great though. It's kind of, again, being neglected, but let's see, where's the tip of it? There it is. So yeah, it's, I'm just gonna let it go. And then the other thing I did do today, the last thing I'll tell you guys about, is I repotted. I had the Solana up front. It was a perennial. I was going to let it go, but I was like, really, this is prime real estate. All this dirt, all this soil, and this fabric pot is not really made for food, or I would have put probably some food stuff in there. But this is just one that I had from storage from the kids and stuff. So I just planted the small petunia in here because it was so just needing, I mean, it was so root bound, and I just knew it needed to be repotted. So this will extend the life of it, even though, you know, it's August now. And I'm proud to say that I still have both of my impatiens from, you know, from when I had them in like May or June. So yeah, very, very excited. I hope you guys are doing well. I'll come back to you soon with some more updates from the garden.